huge for him as an individual. I think he does a lot of wonderful things between the boxes, but I think every striker has this yearning to see the ball hit the back of the net. And I think especially as a younger striker, you're going to go through dips, and so to be able to now go a few games without hitting the back of the net, but now continue to put your head down and graft and grind and reap those rewards, I think is really important for him now moving forward, where you don't have to be tense when things aren't going your way. It's the most difficult position to play. There's going to be streaks, but to stay grounded and know that you keep doing the little things right, and things will bounce in your favor. So I think it's a big learning moment for him, but obviously a huge moment for our group.
And then just big picture-wise, because this is the last home game before the World Cup break, 7-1 at home at the break. What's different about this club where it seems like these guys are really trying to optimize? I don't know if that's quite the right word, but kind of optimize the home crowd and home points and just sort of the importance of all that.
It's funny because after wins, the guys talk, right? It's their stage. Their performance tonight was fantastic to really end a 3-game week, and it's just so humbling and almost cathartic from a coaching perspective when I want them to speak about the game in the moment, and they said, we have to be a better road team. This is what they talk about after just winning this game. And so for me, it just trickles down from the top, the kind of club we want to be, the mindset that we need every day to be the best version of ourselves. We haven't been great away from home, and so the focus today in the locker room was we've got to find a way to now play the same brand of football that we do at home. And obviously the 12th man, our fans have been front and center in the confidence that the guys have to play that way. But I think the onus is on us to take our, even if it's imaginary, take that 12th man with us and start the games with the right type of mentality to create the same type of feeling that the guys have when we go on the road.
Hey, Pablo,
Matty.
congrats on the win.
Thanks.
So you go down early, but come from behind to get the win for only the third time in the last 2 years, not since July. What did you like most about the response from the younger squad you put out there?
Yeah, I think it was always going to be interesting to see how the young guys up front were going to be able to handle those kind of moments where you're behind it. But what I saw was a group that was really calm emotionally. It wasn't erratic. We stayed the course. We knew that we were going to get our opportunities. We had quite a few in the first half, guys making plays. Sergi to goes, and then obviously Juanma to Serge. I think those are just it's again a big learning moment for our group where even when things are down, we stay the course. And I think that's a really proud moment for me. Just watching our team continue to grow from a game management perspective. We have a lot of time left. We got to keep doing the same things to kind of break them down, and we'll reap the rewards. So a real testament to the growth of the group in this early part of the season to manage games and manage emotions the right way.
You've been involved in this rivalry so heavily in all these different positions, right? What did it mean for you to see, especially the Utah-based players, like on the first goal where Booth forces the error and then Gozo gets the finish? What does it mean to see them picking up the mantle of this rivalry and really driving it?
Yeah, before the game, our Nick, who's in charge of our video, put together a fantastic montage of what this rivalry has meant over the years, right? And so for a lot of these guys, this is their first foray into the Rocky Mountain Cup. And again, I think they handled themselves with such class and professionalism. And to see, again, Zach close the player down and take away the angles. And then the transition moment, something that we've stressed so hard this year. And just watching that play being executed at a really high level and doing it with younger players that may not have the experience, I think it really speaks volumes. So, for me, this is obviously a big game given my history, but tonight belongs to the players and their performance, and I think we got one game better from last game.
And then just one last one for me, and I know you don't like the single players out after a game, but Juanma's assist on that last one almost felt like a reward for what he was doing all night long. What does he bring to the team when he's got the kind of rhythm that you saw from him tonight all over the field?
Yeah, no, I think, Juanma is a player that, 9 out of 10 makes the best decision the game offers him. And in that one decision, he's trying to do things that a lot of players maybe haven't seen, or he's 2 steps ahead. He's playing at the international level right now. He's obviously in contention for the World Cup with Uruguay, and I think he along with all the guys, they're playing for something greater than themselves. And I saw that tonight with the majority of the guys on the field. They just gave everything for the group. They gave everything for the cause. And that was another thing that we talked about, that, if we can play like this, we can write our own script, and so that's really the call to arms after the game today. But I think Juanma's been a real special player for us, defensively making great decisions, but also in that final third and picking players out. And that seems like a similar goal that we scored, a couple weeks back or a month back, where it was Juanma to surge, and that was a fantastic finish in that pocket. So just really proud of everyone, man. But Juanma's been, a top player for us.
Pablo, could you just talk a little more about Booth? Because he started the first 2 games, but he has played very sparingly. You sent him to the Monarchs for a couple games, but he's played so little. What did you think of his entire performance?
I thought it was really, really good. I think sometimes, he found out he was going to play yesterday, right? And I don't think there's a lot of time to really think and get emotional about the game and overthink things. He played the game to a really high level, and it's a new position for him, right? And so against a really dynamic team, there's always going to be questions as to whether he was going to be able to anticipate the next play from that position, because it's fairly new. But he checked all the boxes. Defensively, he was strong. Offensively, he played what he saw. The first goal where he closed down and we won the ball and played forward. So he was fantastic tonight, and I think that's again where, if you would have asked Zach at the beginning of the year what his preferred position is, he wouldn't have said wing back, But again, he's willing to do whatever it takes for the group, and so I think it was a fantastic performance for him. And then Dom came in and did a great job, and so it's just when things are falling into place, guys are willing to do things that they never thought they were capable of, and Zach did that tonight in spades.
It's never a perfect performance, and it did look like there were points in the game where you really wanted them to hit some big switches. Colorado seemed to be moving as a group to one sideline or the other. Were there some issues there going on, or just guys get caught up sometimes?
Yeah. I think too, there's also the nerves of the game, right? I think there's that emotional component, and that's where whiteboards fly out the window, because the space that you see on a whiteboard or an overhead camera, those are what coaches see, but coaches aren't emotional because they're not running their tails off and defending against a team that's really dynamic with their movements, and the way they press. When they press as a group, it's hard to find the best option at times. So I think it was a combination of all those things. But so again, teams, and that's the other part, is like we can want to play a certain way every game. Teams are obviously trying to thwart what we're trying to do. So, but I think overall the guys really executed at a really high level.
They run some unusual set pieces, and I'm wondering how prepared they were for them. They saw them over and over. Can you talk a little bit about the preparation and then the level of execution you thought you saw there?
Yeah, so again, I think from our, the goal that we conceded, they had a corner kick prior to, and I think Lucas did a really good job of dealing with that back post. On the second one, we were still in fine position after the initial play. We just kind of fell asleep in the middle of goal, right? So it takes a touch out wide and then leathers it across. And so it wasn't so much that our setup was poor, because you're always going to have balls that you can't anticipate where they're going to go. You still have to do your job throughout the whole exercise, right? So then after that, we brought Zach back and we made the adjustment and having him deal with their back post that they were trying to exploit. Yep.
Congrats on the win. We have Justin and Lucas that came back from injury. We've seen 2 games. What did you think of their overall performance tonight?
Yeah, I think they were real solid. Jay Glad has been dealing with a hip injury that hasn't allowed him to kind of reach full speed, but tonight it was tested over and over again, and really handled Navarro, who's a fantastic player, and did a great job. And Lucas, again, not having played in quite some time, I thought stepped in and did a remarkable job. and not getting reps, and still coming out and playing really well on both sides of the ball against a really dynamic team. It was probably one of the harder teams to kind of put both of those guys into. So just the them negating a lot of really clear opportunities and defending the depth real well is a testament to their performance.
And then what area of the game do you feel most confident about heading into this break? And then where do you still need to see the most growth for you guys?
No, I think it's in every phase of the game. There's room for improvement. There's no, we're good here, because again, different opponents. What ends up happening is whatever you're doing really, really well, your opponent is preparing for that the next weekend, and so you have to do it even better. So defending the box, we have to do well. Set pieces, we have to do well. Our transition game has to be better, both offensively and defensively. So we look at it more from a bird's eye perspective, and celebrating the little wins, but knowing that we have a lot of work to do to be a top team in this league.
Hey, Coach. Especially with the compression y'all have had with the schedule, I wanted to ask you both, as kind of a coach and a player, how hard it is for them to stay locked in and fight that mental fatigue late in the game, because they were still rotating, covering for each other, not having those breakdowns. Yeah,
that's a great question, and I think a lot of it has to be, from a physical perspective, the guys were running, they were redlining at the end of the first half, given how much work they were doing. So I think what allows them to continue to, provide the type of physical output that is needed in a game like this is really the emotion and the fear of letting your teammate down. Like I've said earlier, there's something about this group that is really unique that you can't coach, that you provide an environment for these guys to flourish in, and because they're such great human beings and fantastic players, it's that peer-to-peer accountability that really drives the last 20 minutes of a game like this. It's not, because if you look at the data, you'll say, like, these guys shouldn't have been able to do what they did. But the fact that they're still covering for each other and making hard runs back, Gozo's another example. He's had 3 games where he's been running in the red. How does a young man like that? And it's because he doesn't want to let his teammates down. And in doing so, when you give to the team, it's amazing how the soccer gods will really celebrate you as an individual. And he's had a fantastic week.
And then I ask you about DeAndre, last few games, just playing out of his mind, both offensively and defensively, forcing conflict when he gets forward, and then just cleaning things up.
Yeah, no, Dre's these last couple games have been fantastic. He's utilized his experience the right way, and oftentimes a player of his age you wouldn't think could give the physical output, but he just never stops running. His sprint distances, his covering positions, his decisions in the attack to run the half space. He's just always feeling the right moment. These 2 games have been really, really top, and I think today he showed his class as to why he's been in a couple World Cups and why he's played abroad, and just that type of experience for our group, being a younger group. And he had Zach in front of him in the first half, and then he had Dom come in, and these are 2 younger guys that are still cutting their teeth and getting to understand the game. So he even did a lot of leadership, of communication with guys in front of him. So it was a really complete performance from Dre tonight.
Coach, congrats on the win. I want to talk a little bit about Sergi. You have this guy who came from basically college, is tearing it up right now, if we can talk like that. And it seems like he's a striker that you probably wanted to have for a while. He scores from his left, assists, and now with headers. It's been a while since a player have a header. Have you talked to him in that aspect of his game to keep improving on that, or is there anything else that he can continue to do?
No, I think Sergi's a fantastic, student of the game, where he's always asking really good questions. He watches, obviously, a lot of football. He's got a great pedigree growing up in Spain and being a part of, a big club before coming to college. So I think the thing with Serge is he's always trying to improve on all sides of the ball. And the biggest phase I think that he's improved on is his defending, taking angles, starting the press. That's been 1,000% growth from when he first got here. The other stuff, the finishing stuff, we worked on the week before the 3-game week and how he can take his chances better. But that's an area that I think every striker has to continue to keep. You got to keep your knife sharp. Whether it's balls in the air, whether it's how you receive the ball first touch to set you up for the second touch. These are things that the best strikers in the world do, and Serge knows that he's got a lot of potential, and the only way to get to where he wants to go is to continue to, work on his craft.
Going along with that, you have quite a few players assisting, quite a few players scoring, and overall it seems like off the bench there are players that come in and make a difference as well.
Mm-hmm.
How much fun are you having with this team right now, and how proud are you of them?
Yeah, no, it's and it's a credit to the coaching staff as well. The amount of energy and work that they sit down with players, all the guys, whether you're starting or you're not getting a lot of minutes, and I think that when you understand, and I've said this before, is when you understand how we want to defend from every position, then you can start to have rotations, right? Because then there's not oh man, we're this guy's on the wrong side. And sometimes you see Goes on the right, sometimes you see Serge on the left, sometimes you see Morgan, Diego, all these guys are. But the most important thing is that our structure will not be compromised because of the understanding. And so we harp a lot on our defending. Our coaches do a great job of working with the young guys in particular. I thought Aiden had a really good game tonight. I think he showed one game better from the game that maybe in the last couple games. And just his between the boxes, understanding defensively, understanding where to get the space to turn and start attacks. And so it's a testament to everyone in that locker room and the coaches. Again, it's a joy to work with everyone because everyone knows that we're a good team, but we want to be great, and the only way to get there is to work your tail off. Yep.
Congrats on the win, Coach.
Thanks.
Tonight we saw a little bit of, you could say, passion, maybe some frustration, some anger at points on the field. As the coach, how do you take that and channel it and turn it into a result like this?
Well, again, I think there's always, and especially in rivalry games and derby matches, I think there's always going to be a certain, there's going to be a higher threshold for emotion just because of the significance of the game, right? And I think there's that emotion is really beneficial to a certain point, but beyond that, you start to lose your head. And then when you lose your head, then you run out of position and you do these things. And I just felt like we were riding that fine line for the whole game. I think and all the players on the field, whether you're in the back line, midfield, and up front, I felt like we had a really good. There's a right amount of tension in the game, and that's why I went to the last bit because I think we managed this game really well in the second half. There's times we played out, there's times we played long, but we never had two or three guys walking back when the play broke down. We had everyone, sprinting back to get in. It just meant something. And I think games like this bring the best out of guys. And so, moving forward, I think again, like what the guy said today is like this is a standard whether we're at home or we're away, and this is something that we got to channel and hold ourselves to.
And with this being the last home match before the World Cup break, how important is that to make a stamp on your home form before going into the break?
Yeah, I think it's huge, Oz. I think it's critical for everyone, right? I think, like I said, it's not just the vibes in the locker room, but it's the vibes in the stadium, and I think fans, they know when they come out to our games, it's going to be an exciting match. Guys are going to work hard for them, but there's nothing more important for everyone that comes to these games than the 3 points, right? And I think so, having that long break, we're leaving home with a good taste in our mouths, and really the responsibility and the accountability to make sure that when we resume after the break that we hold ourselves to the same standard.
Thank you. That's it for me.
Thank you.
Sergis, felicidades por el gol. ¿Cómo te sientes luego de regresar? Habías empezado bien rápido y bien, y luego hubo una pausa. ¿Te preocupó un poco eso? Y ahora, luego de marcar, ¿cómo te sientes?
Bien, bueno, sí, me siento bien después de volver a marcar. Como tú has dicho, empecé muy bien, empecé fuerte, empecé marcando. Pero bueno, marcar cada partido es muy difícil en esta liga. Y con la confianza de los entrenadores, siempre lo he notado, de los compañeros, yo solo tenía que hacer el que estaba haciendo, crear ocasiones. Va a haber veces que voy a marcar, va a haber veces que no. Hoy he tenido la suerte que la he metido, así que contento por eso y a seguir ahora.
¿Sientes que este partido ha sido uno de los mejores comparado a los otros porque te vi más atento, más buscando la pelota? El momento que robas ese balón, ¿cómo lo ves tú? ¿Qué pasa en ese momento en tu cabeza para tratar de quitar esa pelota?
¿Dices el primer gol? Bueno, sabía que vi aquí a Gozo no sé, por aquí a la izquierda y se la pasé, sabía que él no iba a fallar. Yo venía de fallar 2 ocasiones, a lo mejor es eso, también buscaba el pase para que marcase otro jugador, otro compañero. Sí, contento por dar una asistencia también, por ayudar al equipo.
Gracias. DeAndre, congratulations, very nice game in attack and defense. You did the best. That's all what can say to him.
Thank you.
English. Thank you.
DeAndre, congrats on the win. I'm good, brother. How are you?
Good.
I like you're making the same body shape as the woman on your shirt.
Inspiration.
I love it.
Yeah.
You've played in rivalry matches all over the world. I know this isn't the Tyne Weir, but what did you make of the Rocky Mountain Cup tonight and the way that the crowd responded for you guys as you started your comeback?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, every rivalry game offers a little bit extra. A little bit more bite, a little bit more fight and motivation to win. Not just for ourselves, but for the fans. Even when we went down, they were right behind us and helped push us through the whole game, and ultimately helped us get back into the game and come out with the win. So credit to them. No different than any other game. They're always behind us, so it's not like this was the only game they were, but we definitely hurt them.
And then what did you make of the response from the young players who can sometimes get rattled? I know you haven't been here the whole time he's been here, but Luna's kind of the talisman, and for him to kind of wash out at the last minute, we've seen them respond a little shaky before this, but they came out strong. What did you think of them?
Yeah, I think that's been a kind of common theme this year, where one guy goes out and the next guy has to step up. So it's something that fortunately we have an arsenal of very good young players. And they're all ready to play. They all want to play. They're all excited to play. So I know whenever they get the opportunity, they're extremely excited, and fortunately for us, do very well. So big credit to them. Thank you. Yep.
And Sergi, your movement was causing problems for Colorado all night. You had a couple chances that didn't go in. How important was it to keep playing your game until you got the chance that you buried?
I mean, that's part of my games. I always have chances. I know during the games I will have chances in this league and how I play. But I need to keep my mind cold, keep focusing on my strengths, and help the team pressing and running. That's also give me confidence to have more confidence in front of the goal. And then, when Juanma was about to cross, I knew that his crosses are great, so I only have to put my head in, and hopefully went in. So, good moment, an amazing environment too, and now time to enjoy.
And then it seemed like a very physical game, a lot like the Dallas game you just played, where you particularly were getting beat up a lot. How do you keep your composure when the fouls all seem to be getting called against your team, so that you don't get, yanked?
Yeah, I think it was a lesson that we learned in Dallas. We had to improve our performance. In Dallas was not enough, and we learned the lesson. I think Pablo was very clear on that every game that we lose and we win, we need to learn. We need to keep learning, because as you said, we are a young team. And today we did a really good job. Of course, there were some fouls that maybe were not that clear, but for the ref, yes. So I think also we need to give credit to the team to keep believing, to keep fighting, and to pushing to the last minute to get the result. Thank you.
Serge, you've scored a lot of goals with your head, and I wonder if that's something you've always been good at. Is that something you had to work on? Where does that come from?
I mean, I work a lot on crosses during trainings. The guys on the wings help me a lot. Alex, Juanma, DeAndre too on trainings. Rafa is always pushing me to head the ball with my head. Yeah, I think it's part of training, part of my strengths maybe. Of course, not every ball that I touch with my head is gonna go in, but some of them yes. So the times that goes in, it's nice, it's happy, and if it's good to help the team, even better.
DeAndre, Pablo said after the game that the talk in the locker room was about taking this performance, which we've seen at home several times, and taking it on the road where the results haven't been as good. As a guy who's played in leagues all over the place and has seen this phenomenon over time, what do you think needs to be done to take this on the road? What do the rest of the team, especially the young guys, need to know about playing on the road?
Yeah, I was actually thinking about this, and it's interesting because America, I think in general, offers a little bit of a different experience when playing on the road. You know, in England, you can travel 1 hour and you're in the same climate, you're on the same type of field, the same type of grass. Obviously, you're in an away stadium, but everything's pretty similar, whereas here, you know, you could travel 6 hours, be on a different type of grass, different climate, different heat, different time zone. So you can't always play the exact same way, and we have to understand that. But we also, I think, need to take the confidence that we gain from here and bring it away. And we need to realize that we are a good team in this league. We are a team that is fighting for a championship in this league. And just take that confidence and know that for some reason on the road, I feel like it's a little bit, we feel a little bit scared or something. I don't know exactly what it is, but me and Rafa were talking about it after this game, is how can we kind of bring these performances and get the same thing out of the away games. And it's something that we're going to have to do if we want to be a top team in this league, because obviously we have a lot more away games to play. So, you know, hopefully we'll be able to figure that out, and Minnesota will be a huge game for us going into the break.
Thank you.
Yep.
Sergi, felicidades otra vez por otro gol y por la victoria hoy. Te vi un poco emocional después del gol, que estabas ahí, todo tu compañero te vino. ¿Nos puedes explicar un poco de esa emoción que sentiste?
Sí, como he dicho antes, creo que, bueno, para un delantero es importante marcar gol. Para mí es importante. Cuando llevaba, no sé cuántos partidos llevaba, pero 3 o 4 partidos sin marcar gol, incluso más. Bueno, no es duro, pero mi faena es marcar gol. Yo estoy feliz cuando marco goles. Así que fue un momento bonito. Ya había tenido 2 ocasiones antes que no las pude hacer. Tenía esa espinilla para marcar gol, para aliviarme un poco. Así que cuando lo marqué me sentí bien, sentí contento, ayudando al equipo, que es lo importante. Y para mí también, individualmente también.
Jimmy's question was about scoring and feeling a little emotional after the goal. And Sergi's answer is that yes, he was looking for it, and obviously the emotions were high in that moment, and he felt very grateful and happy for it.
Mi segunda pregunta es, viene Minnesota y después de Minnesota viene el paro. ¿Te has puesto tú algo en este descanso que vas a tener para seguir mejorando, si se puede decir así, aunque la estás rompiendo últimamente? ¿Y qué sería eso en ti mismo?
Bueno, creo que sí, ahora tenemos el partido importante en Minnesota. Como ha dicho DeAndre antes, es importante que vayamos ahí y sigamos con la confianza que estamos jugando en casa para sacar los 3 puntos, porque van a ser muy importantes si queremos estar arriba. Y después, las 3 semanas que tenemos off, también es importante para nuestra salud mental desconectar. Al fin y al cabo pasamos mucho tiempo juntos, siempre muchos entrenos. Sí que el ambiente es muy bueno y es muy fácil estar aquí y la verdad es que estoy muy feliz y todo el mundo me ayuda. Pero bueno, va bien desconectar, ir a casa, ver a la familia, a mis amigos, me va a ayudar mucho. Voy a seguir entrenando, voy a seguir metiéndole al gimnasio, porque esto es lo que me ayudó antes también en Navidad, a llegar y estar bien. Y sí, esto es lo que voy a hacer. Seguramente voy a dejar la pelota un poco apartada para centrarme en mi cabeza y mi salud mental, como te he dicho. Y ver a mi familia seguramente me va a ayudar mucho también.
Jamie's question was about the break after Minnesota, and Sergi's response is that, of course, we want to get those 3 points at Minnesota, but during the break, he wants to focus on his mental health and to make sure that he spends time with family and friends. Obviously, keep on training, but possibly going to take a little break from the ball and make sure that he's ready for when we get back on.
Andre, ¿cómo estás? My question is, you look hungry from minute one. Was there extra motivation tonight because of this Rocky Mountain rivalry that we have here?
I mean, yeah, like I said before, I think every rivalry or derby, whatever you want to call it, offers a little bit more motivation. But I think just most of all, just hungry to win. You know, I think this team really has something special. And, you know, if we're not giving it our all, then we're doing a disjustice to the team and our teammates and the fans that come to watch us. So it's just really just a hunger to win. And, you know, sometimes it doesn't happen, and that's okay. Like Sergi said, you know, what Pablo was saying is as long as we learn from it. I think we learned some good lessons in that Dallas game, and we take those lessons and move forward and just keep trying to be the best team that we can be.
And my last question is, like, it looked like the press caused a lot of problems to Colorado today when trying to win the ball high up the field. Was that something that you guys emphasized for?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's, you know, one of the key parts of our team is the press. And I think when in the games that we've done the best, our press has been very good. And in the games that we haven't done the best, our press has not been very good. So, you know, I think that's a thing that we work a lot on. You know, you have a guy like Sergi leading that line, and, you know, it makes it a lot easier on us guys in the back because he just makes play so predictable with the intensity that he goes with. You obviously have Goes, Diego, Morgan, Aiden, whoever's playing in those 10s as well, that, you know, they're such honest players. They make our job a lot easier just from making plays so much more predictable. But yeah, the press is something that, you know, not just in this game, but in every game we try to implement. Sometimes it doesn't work, but yeah, that's hopefully a key component of our team, you know, moving forward.
Congrats on the win for both of you guys. This question's for both of you guys. How would you describe this team's identity right now? What do you think defines RSL in 2026?
I don't know. As my first year, I would say it's a perfect balance. I mean, we have players super experimented in the locker room and young players that we just start our career, that we just get influenced by these players that teach us how to perform as this way, and it's easy for us. I tell my friends, I mean, when I'm playing, I'm not nervous. I mean, I'm enjoying it. I'm happy. I always want the ball, and it's so easy to play. And we need just to follow their advices. They have experienced so much more than us. So I think that's basically the summary of this season. Finding this balance that we need to continue working on and getting better. And then in November, we'll see where we are.
Yeah, I actually think that's a great word, is just a great balance. Like he said, we have a lot of young players, and that kind of brings this hungry, unlimited energy component. And then we have our experienced guys that maybe aren't as physically fit, but, you know how to balance that a little bit. So yeah, I think it's a really good balance. I think the togetherness of this team, you know, every day in training we're hanging together. After trainings we're hanging together. You know, whether it be team dinners or whatever it may be, this team really likes to be together. And, you know, there's not one guy on the team that you could pick out and say, no, he's not really part of the group, or he doesn't, you know, hang with the group at all. So I think that's really important. Every good team that I've been on, the team's been really close, and this team has all the ingredients to be a super top team in this league.
And then last question for me for both of you guys. What is your personal goals for the second half of this season when we return?
I think individually keep doing the same, keep working hard, training good, having the confidence in front of the goal. And team-wise, I think keep doing what we are doing. What we are doing is hard work every day. Keep pressing as we press, keep fighting as we fight, and keep enjoying the moments that we have together. I think that's the key, that because we are now here and winning games. I know it's hard, and he will for sure tell this, that it's hard to do it along all the season, along 8 months. But if we want to be a top team, we need to be able to do that. So I think that will be the key.
Yeah, for me on an individual basis is, you know, just keep obviously trying to defend well. as many clean sheets as we can have. We haven't had enough this year, in my opinion. So that's definitely an area we need to grow in. So trying to contribute to that, and then also just trying to continue to be the best leader that I can be, and be somebody that the younger guys can fall on if they're going through anything or any kind of adversity. And then also be an open ear for them if they have advice for me. It's just because I've played in different places and played around the world doesn't mean that I know everything. They can have a different perspective on the game and see things in a different way that could be beneficial to me. So it's not just about saying, oh, you're young, so you listen to me. It's how do we collaborate in this, and then team-wise, just to win as much as we can win. It's just I just want to win. However we need to do that. If it's ugly, if it's pretty, it doesn't matter. We just want to win, because at the end of the day, that's what we're here for, is to win for this club and these fans.
Hey, DeAndre, I wanted to ask about, you give up the early goal, but for you as a veteran who has a lot of younger guys, especially on your side of the field tonight, how it felt for you seeing so many of them, no one's hanging their head, and they're just getting right to it and just staying mentally tough through the entire thing?
Yeah, I think it speaks volumes to where we're at as a team. I was obviously only here for 8 games last year, I think it was, but I think there's a big difference in attitude when there's a little bit of adversity between this year and last year, from in my opinion. And I think it speaks volumes just because we're all eluding confidence to each other. Everybody's just giving confidence to each other. So even when we do go down, we go down early, and it's a derby game, we're confident that we're going to win it. One, because we know this place is a fortress. There's not many teams that are going to beat us here. And 2, we know the quality that we have on the field. I think if there was bad players on the field, it would be a little bit of a different question. But we know we're all great players. We know we can score goals. We know we're going to have our chances. And yeah, from my perspective, the younger guys, they did so well. They did so well. Especially a guy like Zach coming in and maybe playing a position that he's not super used to. I thought he was excellent tonight and made my job a lot easier. So big credit to him. Little shout out to Zach.
Congrats on the win. DeAndre, having Justin Glad and Lucas Engel back in the back line with you tonight, how good did that feel, and what does it mean for the club to have them back healthy?
Yeah, it's huge. We obviously want everybody healthy. We want, all players able to play and ready to play. These are obviously 2 very experienced players, that have played a lot of games. So anytime you can get some experience on the field, I think it's great, especially in games like this where it can get a little bit rocky. I think it was great to have them back. They're both leaders. And you can never get enough leaders on the field. So it was really good to have them back, and I thought they both did really well.
Thank you. And Sergi, coming into the second half, drawn 1-1, how did you and the rest of the offense maintain your belief that equalizing goal would come, and then how exciting was it for it to come off your forehead?
As he said before, we have the confidence here at home that we will win the game. And it was like I didn't feel pressure in the halftime with everyone in the locker room. Like everybody was convinced that we will win the game. We'll have our chances and we'll score a goal. And then my goal was nice feeling. Nice to hear everybody celebrating the goal and also helping the team. Really nice.
All right. Thank you.
Any other questions? Zoom? Anyone questions on Zoom?
Awesome. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.